Game week 34 is the biggest opportunity to gain a green arrow in FPL, especially if you are on your free hit this week. We're going to be going through my top 5 free hit players that I'll be having in every single draft for my free hit team. As I say, these are the ones that I would absolutely be going for, so then you are making sure you get that green arrow. And in my opinion, the players that are going to do the best in this game. We've got some different defenders, midfielders, and forwards that we're going to be going through in this video in order. If you're a fan of daily FPL content, then hit subscribe on this channel. This is the place to be for daily FPL content. It takes 1 second to subscribe, so please do hit that. Drop a like as well if you enjoyed the video. It'd be great, very greatly appreciated. And we'll start off with our number 5 player, and it's actually going to be Alexander Isak. Now, I think you should really be higher up on this list, but then you take his form into consideration, and the fact that I do believe he is playing with an injury right now, as he has been substituted as well in the last 5 matches and around about 70 minutes. He's definitely getting his minutes managed, so he's obviously not as high up on this list as what I would like him to be, because Ipswich at home is an unbelievable fixture. It's one of the fixtures of the week. But just due to the fact that he's not playing the full 90 minutes, he's not really in form in terms of his goal returns. He's got 2 returns in his last 4 games, which isn't bad at all. But for Isak standards and the fixtures that he's had, you know, playing against a Crystal Palace side where they scored 5 goals, a United side where they scored 4 goals against, and a Leicester side they scored 3 goals against, to only get 2 contributions out of all them goals that Newcastle actually ended up scoring is pretty disappointing, to be honest. But nevertheless, I still think he's a great option. I still think it would be very, very risky to go with that. And when you look at the other forwards as well, we're going to be speaking about another forward a bit later in the video. But in terms of forward options, we're not exactly spoiled for choice, I would say, in this blank game week. So I still think Isak, in my opinion, is the second best forward option going forward into FPL game week 34 into the blank game week. So Isak for me is going to come in as number 5. Now number 4 for me is going to be Ryan Sessegnon. Now it could be Ryan Sessegnon, it could also be Anthony Robinson if you want to go for the kind of safer option with him in terms of the minutes. You know, you guarantee that Anthony Robinson's going to play. Now, Ryan Sessegnon, this is why he's such a great pick. He's only 4.1 million, but at this point in the season, price doesn't really matter on your free hit. But he is 4.1 million, so he could be a great transfer in as well if you're not on a free hit this week. He is, in fact, playing at right wing, though. He's come into the side recently for Fulham, and he's actually been performing very, very well. He's only blanked once in the last 7 game weeks. Now, the problem was he did get substituted off early against Bournemouth. Now, he has been substituted in a few games as well recently, Ryan Sessegnon, which means, you know, if he's not playing well against Southampton and things aren't going Fulham's way, could he potentially get subbed off before the 60th minute mark? And, you know, he's a defender in FPL, so he gets that chance for clean sheet. And obviously with him playing at right wing as well, he's then got a great opportunity to potentially get some attacking contributions going forward as well. So as I say, there is definitely an element of risk to choosing Sessegnon. That's why I'm putting him at number 4, just due to the fact that he is a little bit risky with their minutes. But for me, I think he's a risk worth taking with the fact that, as I say, he's playing against Southampton away, which are, on paper, the worst Premier League team in history, joint at the moment with Derby. They might not actually be the worst team in Premier League history, depending on how they get on. But, as I say, they got an amazing fixture, and with him playing in a forward role pretty much on the right wing, and listed as a defender in FPL, it almost seems too good to be true. Let's be honest, something's probably going to go wrong and the guy's going to get subbed off before 60 minutes and get a 1-pointer. Could very well happen. But I do really like the upside of him. And for me, as I say, I think he is a risk worth taking. So that is why Ryan Sessegnon is going to go in as number 4 for my FPL picks this week. Now, number 3 and the most important defender, in my opinion, in the game this week is Ryan Aina. Now, it's another player that you bring him in and the guy just does absolutely terrible. It feels like he's the kind of guy that when you don't own him, he always returns. Then you bring him in and he just stops returning. But it says here, you know, he's the most informed defender in the game, and he's got the best fixture. Leicester literally cannot hit a barn door for the majority of the time they've been under Ruud van Nistelrooy. They did well against Brighton a couple of games ago, but you know, Wolves have won 5 in a row. Leicester can't score a goal. They're in terrible form. They've not won a game in God knows how. They won 1 game this year, I'm pretty sure, in the league against Spurs. So, like, on paper, I mean, obviously, say it could very well go wrong, but on paper, you can't really pick a better defensive option. You know, you've got, as I say, the team in form that's Wolves against the team out of form in Leicester. Wolves have been actually decent at the back. Also, as well, in the reverse fixture, Leeds actually beat Leicester 3-0 in the away leg. I just think you'd be crazy to go without Ryan Aina, to be honest. So for me, it's not really a debate. It's not really much of a discussion. Ryan Aina, I think, is a great shout going into this week. While we're on the topic of defenders, I do want to just discuss the best defence, in my opinion, for a free hit team. Now, I did my free hit team the other day. If you want to go and check it out, then, you know, it's on my page as well. So I did have Nick Pope in goal, and Nick Pope's going to stay in goal for this free hit. This is just a screenshot from Twitter. This guy put Trent Alexander-Arnold in his team. I actually had Virgil van Dijk in mine. It depends on the likelihood on what Trent is actually going to be in terms of starting the game. You know, if he's starting the game, it's a no-brainer. He's a great pick over Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, he only came on off the bench against Leicester and scored that goal. And is he absolutely guaranteed to start? I don't know. Right, to be honest, I'm 50-50. Like, if I know Trent's going to start, he's 100% going in my team. But you never know. He could be on the bench. So for me, there's Van Dijk just for that extra safety option. And then the other two defenders, as I discussed, was Ryan Aït-Nouri and then Sessegnon. I think for me, they're pretty much lock-ins at this point. The Liverpool defender for me, I'm just going to wait till close to the deadline. It could be Trent Alexander-Arnold. It could be Virgil van Dijk. And Nick Pope in goal, want to target that fixture against Ipswich. And with it being a home fixture for Newcastle as well, I'm pretty confident in them keeping a clean sheet. I mean, Newcastle defence is a little bit shaky sometimes, but you can't deny that it's an unbelievable fixture. And we are, of course, targeting the fixtures of the newly promoted sides. So I really like that back line of going for 1 Liverpool, 1 Wolves, 1 Fulham and 1 Newcastle. You're covering all the bases and you have the great fixtures as well as some solid defences as well. For example, Liverpool's defence as well. Now coming in at number 2, does it sound crazy? Maybe it is absolutely crazy. I'm not so sure. Let me know. But Mo Salah, I mean, his form has been absolutely terrible in recent weeks. If you look at it there, 3 points against Leicester, just a 1 return against West Ham, blank against Fulham, blank against Everton. 3 blanks in the last 4 game weeks isn't ideal going into this blank game week, but Spurs are absolutely terrible. You know, obviously Spurs are a big club and, you know, they're considered to be a top team, but if you look at the Premier League table, they're sat in 16th place in the league. They're, on paper, very, very easy fixture. They concede quite a few goals. Liverpool score a lot of goals. Obviously, Mo Salah, as I say, hasn't been in form, but Mo Salah against Spurs, I do really feel like it's a great opportunity for him to get some contributions. And also Spurs, of course, have one eye on that Europa League coming up in the future as well. All their eggs are in the Europa League basket at this point. The league means absolutely nothing to them. So you could think they're going to rest a couple of players as well and not really take this fixture as seriously as what they normally would do, which again gives Mo Salah the opportunity to do very well. So I'm quite confident in Mo Salah doing well against Spurs as a potential captain option as well. I think he's going to be captained quite heavily as well. There's a debate for captaincy with Mo Salah and the next player we're going to be talking about potentially. But as I say, against Spurs, I think it's an unbelievable fixture. He's not in form, but Liverpool at home, I do still back them to get the win. And for me, just going without Mo Salah, based on the entirety of the season, I know he's been poor recently, I still think it's just crazy to go without Mo Salah, in my opinion. And as the number 1 pick, I actually am going to go for Matheus Cunha. Now, people are saying, I've seen people saying in my comments on TikTok that he might not be nailed. For me, he's pretty much nailed. He played the full 90 minutes in the last game against United. He got a return. He's a bonus point merchant. He's back in the team. He's got Leicester at home next, and I really do think he's going to start the game and he's going to get the full 90 minutes. And we know how good Cunha's been over the course of the season for Wolves. He's their absolute talisman. I know they've won games without him recently, but there's no denying that Wolves are a better team when Cunha's in the team because of the quality that he does have. And you can see there, he's got 5 attacking returns in his last 6 appearances. Of course, that's in between the suspension that he did get. And genuinely, as a captain option, he could be such a good differential captain option. And he could also be the highest point scoring player of the week. I wouldn't be surprised if he outscores Mo Salah this week at all, given the fixture that he's got. It's the easiest fixture, in my opinion, out of the whole weekend, with it being a home fixture against Leicester, who are absolutely terrible. And Matheus Cunha, as I say, 5 returns in the last 6 games. I'm liking the look of him going ahead into FPL Gameweek 34. So let me know if I missed anybody out in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It'd be very greatly appreciated. If you watch this point, you may as well subscribe. That's the rule. If you watch this point, please do hit subscribe. That is the rules I say on the channel. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.